is knowing what you know now, you would push yourself even more because you
Oh
know
man, man,
there's so much more possible because you've
Yeah,
seen it
yeah,
in other people.
yeah,
yeah,
At your age
definitely.
now, you know
Right. You
you
know the
your body
possibilities.
could do more,
yeah.
Right,
right?
right, right.
So the question is, would you push too hard?
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy.
And so today I just kind of want to talk about seeing the value in your process. You understand what I'm saying? Because I know there's not, we don't live in regret, but there's always those coulda, woulda, shoulda moments,
Yeah.
that you see something
No
even
doubt.
now, like, you like, oh man, I should have, man, I wish I jumped on that. Or someone in your lane jumped on something that you hesitated with and it did something great. You're like, oh, I should have jumped on when they was on it. Like, but I couldn't see it. I didn't see it at the time. Um, and so seeing the value, do you see the value in your process, or do you not live in regret or have a lot of those coulda, woulda, shoulda moments? You know, do you really see the value in your process? Because we all still in the process. Each, we move up a notch, we celebrate, but it's a new process. It's a new journey that we're taking through our next level or whatever it may be bringing us. Um, so my question is, do you see the value in your process?
You know,
Um,
Wow.
or-
hindsight is 2020,
right,
and as I look back, I see the value in a whole bunch. I
right,
see the value in staying at my mama house. You feel me?
right,
And
right,
if I could go back, I would
right,
forget what everybody, male or female, would have to stay, and I would stay with my mama, and get me a Rolls Royce or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Sit there, act right, be
right,
respectful, and
right,
enjoy being a child.
right,
Um, I see
right,
value.
right,
I'm the same way with relationships.
right,
I mean, hand in hand, the phone number in my phone with franchise owners and Mac that own all them church's chickens, and but just didn't see the value in it. And a big part of it was I wanted them to take me serious, and I wasn't ready. So I'm not gonna come talk to you about my dreams. You own 37 Popeyes, and I'm sitting here talking about what I want to do with one thing here.
right,
So there, I want to be taken serious. So I'm just gonna skip the opportunity altogether,
Hmm.
and not understanding or appreciating that part of my process. That I
right,
won't, something in my head made me feel like I had to be a big dog before I can go ask a big dog how you be a big dog. And it's like
mm,
it's a messed up thought process. And when those opportunities are gone, you appreciate them then. And the
right,
real push is to see that my is to feel that I have value in my future, that my
right,
best days aren't behind me, that all my opportunities is yesterday.
right,
To feel like I will meet some more influential people, to
right,
feel like I
right,
will end up going somewhere else. And
right,
if you believe that you have that future, then you put more into the current process.
right,
But I've licked my wounds. I sat here and pouted about woulda, coulda, shoulda, and
right,
what was I thinking, and
right. What was I
and
thinking about?
wanting it now, and all those
Yeah,
things. But you got to move on because uh, that now part of the process, it's a struggle because you be wanting it now. So
right,
being in the moment don't always feel like man, I'm not where I want to be. Because if
right,
I stop for
right,
a second to dream, I got some big old dreams, and that don't
right,
look like nothing like my present situation. So it can be a little disheartening. So yeah, you definitely got to trust the process, but it's important just to see the value. Period. If you can
right,
see the value, then you'll hang on, you'll fight for it, you do what you got to do. But
right.
do you see it?
Do you see the process?
Boom.
Do you see the process? Give you a moment for pause. He said, "He's buddy on right, buddy on
Yeah,
15 Popeyes. I'm ordering 2,000 order of curly fries."
Yeah.
He
yeah,
said, "All the hard stuff I went through as a kid growing up is exactly what made me win as I grew into an adult. Right, the hard
yeah.
stuff is what I learned. It's crazy. Like you say, the franchise. Like I knew a guy. I had a buddy who had parents bought like was it the Arby's? This is like the '90s, so Arby's wasn't dead yet, so they were still kind of thriving. So I you know, it's those moments like, oh man, you know, the people to connect to, like the people to stay close to, the information, the people that come in front of you that are trying to position themselves to help you, you know, and you realize like, okay, you know, you like you said, you had a moment, man, I missed that opportunity, but it's like now coming to a space where you're trying to be more aware, you know, of the people around you, the opportunities that come in front of you, the conversations that you have, you know.
Yeah.
I think it, you know, it becomes better, and trying to at least, I think like for me, I don't know about you guys, like trying to get your children on the learning curve, like, okay, let me save 15 years of your life or something. Like, let me help you out. You know, like I keep drilling into my children, like boom, boom, like listen, this is, you need to focus. This is telling you, you know. And I know, but like you said, Pastor, like when you're young, you know it all. I don't even know
you do.
how. I don't even know where, but I guess because you're so young, everybody just look old. You know, 40 was old. That's 40.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't sleep on that energy, man. That energy
Right.
that youth has. You feel me? Like
yeah,
I'm working, I'm grinding. I've been up since 5 or
Right.
6 something.
right.
You know, I'm at it. But like
Right.
I already know how I work. But my body is on its way down. You feel me? I'm gonna get me some lunch in another second. A pot of coffee. You know, put that second cup on. You feel me? Got to pick up the
Yes.
kids, and then you
Yes.
know do those last meet. But I can see my day going down. But
Right.
when you young, the strength,
Right.
that vitality, that energy, I would
Right.
come after school, play 4 back-to-back basketball games, and still be looking around the neighborhood like, bro, what is next? You feel me? Like it's
Right.
a energy, get up and go, and
Right.
that energy, that strength, it gives you
Right.
confidence, man. So
Definitely.
what's this challenge? What's that challenge? You know, whatever it is, I can take it. You know,
Yeah.
you know, strength can be misleading. You know,
Right.
and when you don't have that much strength, you move a little more careful. Like,
Right.
you know what, I'm not going to
Right.
engage that because that's going to take a little bit more energy than what I got. You know, it's a pace and a
Yeah.
wisdom that comes as you get older. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at them kids. They of course they think they can take on the world. They full of
Right.
energy, full of
Right.
strength. You know
But
what
you
I'm
know
saying?
what's interesting about that is knowing what you know now, you would push yourself even more because you
Oh
know
man.
there's so much more possible because you've seen it
Yeah.
in other people.
Yeah.
At your age
Definitely.
now, you know
Right. Know the
your body
possibilities.
could do more,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
So the question is, would you push too hard?
Yeah, I would.
Because you know
I would.
what you're, you know what I'm like,
Yeah.
because you know, like, man, I mean, it's interesting. You ask someone if money was not an issue,
Right.
What would you do?
what would you be doing right now? Right?
Right.
I mean, I honestly, out of the 4 of us, this is just me. When I look at us on this panel, Kaneem, when you see him pop in and pop out, Kaneem looked like a person who is self-sufficient, independent, and has a lot of money.
Yes, he
Right.
does.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, like, he looks like he controls his entire domain. And you know what's interesting? He does,
Right.
right? But if you ask him, I don't know if I said, Kaneem, you got a couple of $1 million in the bank?
Me?
Yeah.
It's Kaneem.
Oh, my bad. KC, you got
Wow.
KC.
I don't have $1 million in the
right. But here's the
it's
thing.
under the mattress. That's where you keep it.
But here's the thing. But when you talk, watch this. But when you talk,
Yeah.
you don't talk like a person that has any financial challenges. You don't
Right.
talk like a person who works for anybody but himself.
Right.
You don't talk like a person who has to answer to anyone.
Anybody. Right.
You talk like an independent individual. I'm saying, like, for someone out here who just doesn't know, right?
Right.
That's what you look like.
Right.
So when you talk about appreciating the process and the value of the and thank you, Jeff. Jeff just validated, because
Right.
Jeff ain't never hung out with you. He only knows you from here.
Right.
And he says that's true.
Kaneem is
That's
the
what it
money
looks
man.
like.
Right.
We didn't have some secret
Yes,
deal
it is.
going on the side, Jeff. I'll give you $20 later. Right. All I'm
Right.
saying is you think about the process that you went through. And from the outside looking in, that the value of today is far worth the process. Right. And all I'm saying is if you had to do all over again, we wouldn't even know you.
Man, I'm gonna have to start talking like I got financial issues then, because y'all perspective is a little bit greater than what I think it is.
Yeah, but the thing is, the process has you carrying yourself this way.
Yeah, my cash app is Kaneem Curry. Dollar sign.
Right.
Dollar sign.
Don't forget the dollar sign.
For all y'all
Don't forget
listening, bless me.
Yeah.
Dollar
I
sign.
ain't got it.
Kaneem Curry. That's K-A-N.
Yeah, but you know what it says though. What it says is if it was there,
man.
how much would have to change?
Right.
If what was there?
If all the money was there, if the financial independence was there,
Right.
from a personality standpoint, how much would have to change? Because if that's how people perceive you today, if the money was there, how much would have to change about your mindset, your personality?
I mean, as far as being self-sufficient, I've always tried to be that since I was a young teenager. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I don't have no brothers and sisters, and my mama was on the struggle, my daddy was on the struggle. So I started buying my own clothes when I was 12, 13 years old. I wanted to look like what I saw on TV, and I know they couldn't afford it, so
Yeah.
I had to go out there and get it. What by any means necessary. I wanted Jordans. I wanted FUBU. I wanted Lotto.
Yeah.
Whatever was out there, I wanted it.
Aeropostale.
Nights. I wanted
Aeropostale.
it all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Your bold
So that's
jeans.
what you feel me? I wanted it all.
I had those.
I wanted to look just like everybody. I
seasons.
wanted to wear a polo every day. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
It was just, but I knew my parents couldn't afford it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I was like, okay, well, how you gonna get it? You got to go out there and do what you got to do.
Yes. Jeff said poop. No, FUBU.
Yeah,
FUBU.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
We'll send you a pair, Jeff.
Right.
The Bill Cosby collection. If you
Hey,
don't know.
I had some shoes that looked like Jordans, but the Nike swoosh was upside down, and they were called Jeepers.
Jeepers! Oh my
Jeepers.
goodness!
They call
It literally was the Nike swoosh, but it was upside down.
We used to call them Pumas.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Who was in after?
Yeah, Puma was straight square at the bottom.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that's what we used to call them, Pumas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I never heard of Jeepers or Creepers or whatever you had on your
Believe me, in Chicago, probably only people in Chicago living in the hood knew about Jeepers.
Yeah, I know. Never heard of that.
I don't think it was a national chain.
Yeah, right. They were just local. They were local.
I think the last pair of shoes my mama got me was some Kids.
Kids.
Is that was that Payless?
That was the last pair of shoes my mama got me was some Kids.
Was Kids Payless?
I think so. I forgot about those.
I got my Kids from Kmart.
Yeah,
Okay. So here's something we discovered about Payless shoe stores.
Okay.
Back in Kankakee, we found out one day that when Payless, when they couldn't sell shoes, whatever shoes they had left over in stock, they would put a slit in the side of the shoe and just throw them in the dumpster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Payless shoe store would put a slit along the side of the shoe and just throw them in the dumpster.
Yeah, that's how you did them out.
Went dumpster hopping.
Oh, wow.
Got those shoes, took them to a seamstress, stitched up the sides, and we was wearing Payless with stitched up.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen.
Ingenuity, man.
Ingenuity. There you go. Wow. So Ross said, nope. Kids was my wife's shoes. I didn't know they made them for men. Yeah. I remember.
And then after them came the y'all remember the Sauconys.
Oh yeah.
John Rollins sounds like he was privileged.
Right.
Oh yeah. I remember them Sauconys.
I was trying to get them
I don't know
Saucony's
about those. I
everywhere.
don't know about them Sauconys.
You don't know
You
about
don't
Saucony, man?
with the little
No.
dots on the side.
Yeah, man.
Come on, man.
Same shoe, 30 different colors. No?
No.
Yeah, man.
Uh-uh.
But when we was kids, you know, your wardrobe was the only value you was trying to build. You know, the
Exactly.
Tommy Hilfiger shirts and
Right.
polos and Vizu jeans. You know, you were trying to build all that stuff. And that's why, like, I'm not saying like when those kids kill themselves. I know it seems crazy, but if you think about how small a kid's world is, you know, to be wearing a fake FUBU jersey, you know, to get picked on for some Jordans, whatever, your mind, you know, especially young boys, is only on a few things. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if that comes crashing down, yeah, them kids feel like they'll commit suicide. Those thoughts will come because that's their whole world. They ain't got no concept of bills and, you know, the future, and that's kind of that ignorance of youth. You know, you got all the strength you need, you got all the time you need. It just feels everything is all you see is what's right in front of you, man. Like literally a few steps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So somebody coming talking about HVAC school, you know, medical
I mean,
school.
think about it.
How in the world I'm gonna be 16 years old, giving you 8 years of my life? I can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean, man. You mess around and get knocked out trying to.
Yeah. What you talking about?
I had somebody tell me that, like, get me in the business. They was like, yeah, just, and I probably was up maybe like 18, 19. It's like, in 10 years, whoa, I shut down. You said 10 years.
Like, come on, bro. I can't get past the next 10 minutes. And you talking about 10 years.
10 years. 10 months.
Like, right. Is like Batman getting ready to come on TV?
I got things to do.
Yeah. Back in the day, give me 2 days and I'm gonna have you a whole lot of money. I'm big old duffel bag for the money.
Yeah.
I just need 2 days.
And for real, if you talking to somebody who got the money coming in, that is a harder sell. You know what I'm saying? It seems like
100%.
longer money. It seems like more
100%.
hassle, and it's not always sexy either. You know, tell people you have to deal with racist professors and you know, people on campus trying to mess with you and put people in some uncomfortable situations. It's some of this corporate American stuff ain't the sexiest sell either. You know what I mean? And I can't guarantee you nothing on the entrepreneurship route. So I ain't mad at the kids, but it's just I wish they understood that they're not making the most informed decision. You feel me? The things
not
you're
being
taking
exposed, man.
Yeah. They gonna have to get out there.
The exposure is big.
That's why I said when I was growing up, I put it like this here. I used to go out of town all a lot with my mama and my granddad and all the time. So when I got 18 and I went to the Navy, that was it was big of me when I went there because I was like, oh, okay. But once I went to California, it was a wrap. I'm like, I'm 18, I'm bam, California, then I'm North Carolina, then I'm in St. Louis, then I'm in Louisville, then I'm in Chicago, then I'm back to Philadelphia, I'm in Flagstaff, Arizona. I'm just all over the country. You know what I'm saying? I'm just bam, 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 and I ain't even 25 yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, this what they was talking about? Okay. But like I say, I didn't get no real employment until I got to Georgia.
Yeah.
It's
like a W-2 job.
Right.
I didn't do that until I got to Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and I was in my mid to late 20s. I got here. So I had to I had a formal work ethic. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn from other cats like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you're supposed to do it. When you used to getting up and going to sleep whenever you want to.
Whenever you want to.
Clocking in and messing with
you. I had to adjust because my life was, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's that's why when you say go back to high school, my go back is a lot different than everybody else's. Because I was doing a lot different than everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what's interesting though? I heard you say it was funny when you said it. You mean like a W-2 job. Right? Like that caught me. That caught me, right? It really caught me because I want you to really think about what Casey just said. like a W-2 job.
Right.
He learned that when he got here. And
Yeah.
yet today
Yeah.
he works for himself. He's not on a W-2
Right.
job.
Right.
So the mentality that he had all the way back then,
Right.
even coming and finding the W-2 job,
Right.
he still has the same mindset of doing his own thing and coming up on his own. No W-2. Because last time I don't think you have a W-2 today.
No, I ain't got one today. but I might need to go get one the way y'all perceiving me.
Oh, stop playing. Let me hold that million. Let me get along.
Go clock
Yeah,
in somewhere.
He ain't
like-
fooling me, man.
like-
He ain't
Nah,
fooling me.
look, it's a transition moment. That's all it is. Just look. Don't try to
Yeah.
look at Casey. Don't listen to him. He is
You about to get a whole bunch of Cash App requests. Like, hey, I'm done. I need some.
I just told you $sign Kaneem Curve. That's
That's where you send your request to $, Kaneem.
oh,
request.
I
Send
send
that
that money. Don't start
Yeah, man.
requesting.
But that exposure is probably one of the most critical pieces to that process, man. Early on, man. So I think at some point you're gonna need an OG that kind of can school you. But as I look back, man, I passed a lot of OGs, man. But if I just wasn't ready, I met a dude at FedEx, put me on game. Get your credit score here and buy 2 trucks. I mean, there's a million routes, a million ways to go about it, and a lot of people out there really doing it. But it got to be that perfect moment of OG that ain't jealous, don't mind sharing the information, know what he talking about, and then some youngster that's ready to listen and take heed to what they saying. But the exposure part probably is the first thing that a young kid needs, like because Kaneem talking about going to all over America. My mind got blown, and I went from South Florida to North Florida. You know what I'm saying? So some Duval boys at way different than we do down at the bottom. So
Right.
it's if that can happen within 5 hours
Right.
of one state, the more you get exposed to, same thing I'm trying to do with my kids, right? I need to take y'all to a fancy hotel so some, joker don't come and show y'all a Motel 6 and y'all be like, your mind all blown. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out how I can expose them, not in a flossing sense, but that just so that some things can seem regular. You know what I mean? Just don't want their mind blown at the easiest little. Y'all know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
it's trying to get them out there and trying to get them seeing the same thing. I could have benefited from too. If you think about certain incomes, and I want to put it out there, but like if you think about certain incomes and certain things, okay, so let's say somebody making $75,000 a year, and I'm saying that is a lot of money. I'm just trying to do an average, and they make a 75 a year. Or let's say the household is making 100K, and that family owns a duplex.
Mhm.
That's not common for everybody, but that's
Right.
not unusual.
Mm.
That's
Okay.
probably somebody still clocking in, still got a W-2 job. You feel me? Like that's normal, but you have to see that in order for that to realize that that's normal. Otherwise, you're gonna think you watching. I forget the guy's name who used to be the rich and famous guy that come on all the time, the British guy. So like you gonna think you watching the lifestyles of rich and famous.
Lifestyle of Rich and Famous. Robin Lee. Yeah, I was trying to do his name. Like,
You know what I'm saying? Because you hear his, I used to hear his
Robin
voice and
Leach.
like, all right, man, I'm really pissed to see how people who just.
Hello, I'm Robin Leach, and this is the lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Was he Australian or British? But yeah, that guy.
British Australian, right?
I used to think that's all right. I'm about to witness how everybody else lives. You know what I'm saying? This is not going to be something I can accomplish unless I hit the lotto. It's not going to be something I can accomplish as some biggest drug dealer or I'll play some sport. This is just something that's far out of the normal person's reach, and it's really not. You know what I'm saying? Now some of that stuff here, I can't afford a $250,000 car and eat pork chops. But I'm just saying there's some things that you can do that are normal, but you got to understand that is normal. You got to be exposed to that as normal. I got to have an uncle that got a job and a property, and he drive his boat on the weekends or something like that. So I got to see that that's happening. But if I'm in the situation, everybody's struggling, and then Kadeem come talk about, you can get you 2 properties and then get this little job with the county, and I'm gonna be like, what he talking about? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And so that's what makes our drug dealers in certain communities super attractive. Like, man,
Right.
man, look at him. He in the same spot I'm in, but he able to
Right.
afford
Super
this.
attractive.
Man, come
Right.
on. And it don't take that much. You can get a
Right.
Charger, you can get a fresh white tee and some Jordans. In the hood,
Bro,
that look like a millionaire. You know what I'm
that's
Right.
what
saying?
that was the dress. That was
Yeah.
the hood uniform right there. We had Dickie suits and white tees. That was
Come
it, bro.
on, come on. Fresh crest on a
And
Dickie suit,
I'm talking
white
about
tee from
starchy
the
archer.
grocery
That's
store.
what we call them. I'm talking about a
Cut
crease that'll
yourself.
cut you.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm
It's in the
saying?
crease that I
Yes,
cut
sir.
you.
Yes, sir. So that made it easy, and then you got the Air Force Ones, and this stuff ain't overly expensive, but it looks like that person's carefree. It looks like that person's getting to it. It looks like that person is where I want to be. And of course, you don't always see the other side of that,
Right.
you know, but even that, expose them to
Yeah.
that real quick. See how
Right.
that go.
Yeah.
Be on the street when the Raiders come. Yeah, and see
Right.
how they get
Right.
locked up on a sweep.
Right.
And it'll make you say, oh, maybe I don't want that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So it's
Right.
it's a powerful conference out here. I think they're doing in Columbus, Georgia. I went a couple years ago by this, well, not to plug another organization, but the organization happened to be Let Us Make Man, and it's a whole bunch of lawyers and social media people, whatever. And they always start the conference off with this um, for y'all who know Big Meech, they
Okay.
read his letter. They tell you about how much he spent. Meech had them giraffes at the birthday party and all the animals and stuff. But then
Right.
they read his letter to the judge, and they kind of pick at him a little bit, but how he, pleading for his life and please reverse all this. But they trying to wake the kids up, the young men up to the fact, they trying to show them both sides. And
Right.
then they start the rest of the conference or whatever. But they trying to expose kids to the whole big picture. And
Right.
I'm beating a dead horse, but that's what the whole point of the kids just see what's in front of them. You know what I'm saying? They don't get the other side. And when you see what's in front of you and you feel like you got enough energy to take it,
Right.
and don't be in a situation where you feel like it's this or nothing, it's
Right.
really gonna encourage that person to ignore any other advice, sound or not, and go after what they see.
Right.
You can get this
Definitely.
tomorrow. You go
Right.
get this, you get involved in that, you do this, and you'll have that by the end of
Right.
the week. But McCory wants you to go to medical school. But get out of here. Come on.
Right.
It's it's
Yeah,
it's,
man.
it's, it's a no brainer.
You got to have consistent and sustained exposure to a positive environment. You know what I'm saying? You can't
Mm.
just dip and dab. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Oh, I was
Right.
over here for a week, and then you
Yeah,
go
Yeah.
back to your
yeah,
negative environment for a year.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So
Well,
you gotta it gotta be consistent and constant for a
Yeah.
longer period of time. That's the only way you're
Right.
gonna do it. I mean, as far as my opinion, you know what I'm saying? Because I know once I left Houston,
Right. Got out of the environment.
I was I didn't have nothing but positive stuff around me.
right.
I
Right.
still was looking for that negative element
Mm.
because I was
Okay.
still
Okay.
I was used to it.
Yeah,
Right.
So I
Right.
was
Right.
I was
attracted to it.
comfortable. I was comfortable in it.
Yeah,
Right.
But
Right.
when I wanted to change and be more civil, I knew that I had positive folks, you know what I'm saying, extending their hand. And it was up for me to grab it and
Right.
hold on to it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I made that choice to
Mm.
hold on to positive folks around me
Right.
as a
Right.
stepping stone to get to a different station. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I was just trying to steadily put one foot on the ladder and just keep on progressing. So
Right.
but it still took consistency and time in a positive environment for me to understand what I really needed for myself to survive and thrive
I
without being in harm's way. And I'm
right.
talking about penitentiary or having cats, you know what I'm saying? Because when you in that negative environment, everybody's shooting for
yeah.
you,
Right.
whether you know it or not. Everybody coming for you. You know what I'm
Shoot
saying?
your
'Cause
homeboy.
when they see you doing well, the
Wow.
jealousy sits in, and you
Mm.
know what I'm saying. It's kind of crazy though. But
So
yeah,
Yeah.
man. I
you had
mean,
any major moment that pushed you, or you just saying it was the over the time, or did you have like a moment that say, nah, this is a wake up moment for me. Let me go ahead and start turning this tide.
you talking about
You
I
personally,
don't
like,
know. I mean, me coming to Georgia was a tide turner. You know what I'm saying? When
Okay.
all my brothers was getting locked up and going to the cemetery, going to prison or going to the cemetery was options I had, and I ain't like now one of them. So you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm like, hey, you
But
got,
it was but in the space that you were in, that was like always part of the life. Like, so what kind of made it real? You know what I'm saying? Like, you knew that it could happen, or maybe in your mind you're like, I'm not gonna get caught until folks close enough to you was getting caught, kind of thing. Was that made it
what
more real,
that
or
too, and my daughter was like,
okay,
I think she was like five,
okay,
four or five,
right,
and you know what I'm saying, and I'm like, I wanted to do different than what my parents did,
right.
gotcha.
and
Okay,
and,
that's when it started
and
shifting.
like yeah, and so that was kind of like if I'm dead,
Right,
I'm not gonna be able to teach her about the birds and the bees. I'm not gonna be able to teach her how to
right,
fish. I
exactly.
want to be the first dude to show her how to change the tile. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So things
Right,
like that, I thought about,
right.
and it was just kind of it was a wake up call, but I was still immature. But I
Okay.
was struggling with my immaturity, and
Right,
so
right,
it was a struggle. But you know what I'm
right,
saying. But I knew I wanted to be there for her,
right.
and I knew I wanted to do something different than what I was doing because I knew I wasn't going back to my mama house. I left there at
Right.
17, so I'm like going back to her house is a
Uh,
no brainer. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna happen. I ain't gonna never do it. So, but that was just my story. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I
and
wanted something different.
I got you.
know,
That makes
in
sense.
that process, like even when you coming out of it, you know what I'm saying, there's a process of coming out of it too. Like
Mm,
like the trauma that you have, and maybe trauma too strong of a word, but I'm saying after years of and not to call out any particular vice, but after years of doing things that even any of y'all would consider not the right move no more. I don't care that smoking, drinking, or watching too much Netflix. Just whatever you like, man. I got to get off that. I gotta step my game up. Whatever your step the game up was, you still got years of doing it versus years of not. So I got
Oh,
17 years of clowning, wasting time. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
then here I am, frustrated that in 6 months I ain't where I want to be, bro.
Right.
You know it all. Clowning, Netflix, doing whatever the thing is, all that stuff second nature at this point.
Right.
And I think you got to have appreciation for the trauma. And is that word too strong? But like the trauma of your past decisions. You feel me? And
it,
coming
it,
out of
it,
that stuff.
it is trauma. It's trauma when you reflect on all the everybody that fell around you.
Right.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Whether they fell to prison or whether they fell to the cemetery, you know what I'm saying? It's still traumatic because
yeah,
y'all had a bond that was like a brotherhood, and all of a sudden you snap your fingers and it's gone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like ain't no smooth transition. Like if somebody was sick and you knew they was about to pass, or if you know that you got the end of your job is about to come and they didn't gave you forewarning. You know what I'm saying?
hmm,
It's just a snap of the
Oh
finger.
shit.
Oh, he gone.
Gone.
What's name got picked up last night?
gone.
You don't see him no more.
Right.
Yeah,
You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
He gone for years. You know what I'm saying? You don't see him
Right.
no more.
that's
What's
traumatic.
name got shot last night? And he gone.
Right. Gone.
Yeah,
You
Just
know what I'm
gone.
saying?
Wow.
It's like a light switch. You know what I'm
Right.
right.
saying? So
Right.
yeah, I mean, so
That's true.
trauma would be the perfect word to say about it, but how you deal with it
Right.
and how you I guess kind of like your own grieving process
Hmm.
because
Right.
everybody grieve differently. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So even when your homeboy go to prison, you still grieving.
yeah,
Y'all ain't
Right.
y'all ain't
Right.
y'all ain't
Could you say that again for the people in the back?
yeah, for real. Yeah, and the
Yeah.
problem is that in the streets or in that environment, y- you got to conceal that. You can't grieve a certain way. You got and you got to talk it to the game. You got to say he knew what it was. He a
That's the thing.
soldier.
Right.
Oh, he did what? Oh no, but that was soldier. That's
Yeah,
trauma,
yeah.
bro. That's
Right.
trauma. And like
Right.
you know, that's why I'm not saying it's the only way. It was my way. But when you trying to get out of a
Yes,
certain
right.
situation, I feel you need to
Right.
relocate. You know what I'm saying? And I know others have successfully relocated in the same spot. But for me, I had to physically move my location to help kind of just break up from it. I just feel like if you're trying to get away from a certain thing, you gotta get around from all of that because it's hard to kind of But
And
I
that's the
know others
same
have
reason
done
why
it.
it's hard to go back home when you have broken free, because it's still traumatic for those who have witnessed you get out and make something happen and they have not.
Yeah.
Right.
That's trauma.
100%.
Yeah.
And,
That can
and
be.
and people don't know how to manage that trauma, which is why a lot of people who make it out go back and don't and lose their lives
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
because
Right.
people can't handle the trauma of your success,
Yeah.
and then you bringing it back here.
And you got tragic stories of people trying to change their life. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make it happen and just going back ain't never been good. You got guys who did 15, 16 years in prison, get home and get shot trying to buy some weed. You know, that's just
Right.
it's just a
Right.
sad story, man.
Yeah.
So, it's and I know everybody's not from that environment or whatever, so I'm not coming against the hood or saying that like that. You can translate it to any situation. But what I'm
True.
saying is when you're trying to just do better, I don't care if it's at the golf course, you feel me? And there's a whole bunch of you hanging around a whole bunch of rich and entitled people, and you want to
Right.
do better. You want to, get it from the mud a little bit more and not just play with high society, whatever. Move from
Right.
it. It doesn't always have to be some gang banging going on to be a bad situation.
Right.
You've been at a certain industry for a long time, and you want to remove yourself from the industry, get your behind up, change the resume, and get out of that industry. So it's a lot to it.
So I'm gonna read some of Jeff's comments because I gotta throw something in there real quick. Then we're gonna get out of it. The trauma, I believe, that's what makes us strongest, devastating, usually. But looking back, that's what gives us mental muscle. Yeah, but I got a question for that one. I think where I faltered, he says, is I've always trying to prevent my kids from having to go through any drama.
I hear you, Joe. That's a tough one.
And he said, talk to real successful people, and you'll find out their beginnings were usually always very meager and a real struggle. I don't like having to go through the trauma. I mean, no one, if Kaneem could pick his life, like I don't, I could be here, but I don't have to go through. He probably wouldn't want to have to go through what he went through. You understand what I'm saying? The hard parts, the fear of jail or getting shot, like that lifestyle. So I don't feel like you really necessarily have to go through a tough situation to learn and to grow.
You don't. I mean, because my thing, being a black man, you can have fear of losing your life and going to jail, and you do your homework every day.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not out there slinging. You're not out there, hitting the streets hard or anything like that. But I think to your point, and there's 2 points I wanted to make, and I'll try to make them in my short version. I said try.
All right.
What you were alluding to earlier, I've learned that entrepreneurs take training, grooming, just like career-minded people take training and grooming. Academics, it's training and grooming. It's all muscle memory. Like I'm in corporate America because I paid attention to someone who was in corporate America.
Yeah.
Who took the time to share some things, and I kept asking questions. I asked questions all the way up until I became an engineer, all the way up until I became an architect. I didn't go to school and get the training for it. I got it in, like we would say, in the streets.
Yeah.
It was application,
right?
And I grew and I evolved and I elevated. And then I got to a point where, someone says, "Who you working for the man? You working for the man? You working for the man? You need to get out there and make your own money, start your own business." That sounds exciting. I could be like you, but I never got the grooming for it.
Right. And it's the route for somebody.
Right. It works for some, not for everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand? Just like education. Well, without a degree, you can't get into it. No, that's not true.
Right.
However, I believe in education.
Right.
I just know that not everybody's going to have a degree.
Right.
But but I would encourage you to do it because
Right.
it's something you should have at a minimum because you learn something about yourself.
It's beneficial. Yeah.
Right.
It's beneficial.
Definitely.
Yeah, learning how to set goals and accomplish
Not for
goals
everybody, I
and
get it.
celebrate. Right, without your mother having to make you get up and go to school.
Yeah.
Or your dad. So what I'm saying is it's all grooming. And again, that's why I was saying earlier, Kaneem is not on a W-2 because Kaneem he's learned a culture, he's learned a way to make money and and don't get me wrong, we all have to answer to somebody. You answer to your clients, and Alicia is his boss. So I don't care what he says.
You answer to
But
somebody.
I agree with that 100%. But now I got to leave y'all because I got to go make some money.
Go ahead.
All
bro.
right, appreciate it.
Yes.
Take it easy, bro.
Thank you, man. Thanks for coming through. All right. Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? It's all grooming, and it's what works for you. It's where you find your comfort. And I believe that each and every one of us can say that we see the value in our individual processes.
Right.
Yeah.
Each of us can say that because we're all better today than we were yesterday.
Right.
But I can't sign off on not going through the struggle though.
You can't sign off on what?
Not going through a struggle.
No, there's struggle. I don't care what path you come from. There's struggle.
Yeah.
There's trauma.
Yeah.
Always.
And you
Yeah.
don't have to go through the same. I'm not going to take my child and ride them through the hood. They don't have to go through the same struggle. Like get out there.
Maybe they
get
need.
shot at,
Maybe they
guys.
need to ride through the hood. Maybe they need to ride through. At least
I
get
don't subscribe
right
to that because
there.
I'm saying that doesn't
Right.
that's not, you can't cross that. That's not what's
Right.
that contextualized. That can't go everywhere, right? So like
Right.
because everybody don't have a hood. But
Right,
like what I can bet on is life. And I just
Yeah,
don't
100%.
I don't believe I can't sign off on growth without struggle. And I just feel
It's gonna be a
you gonna
challenge. Yes, 100%.
gonna have to
You
go
can't,
back.
you can't protect from
Always.
challenges.
and
There's
life
always
is
gonna be-
life is traumatic. There's no
Yes.
doubt about it.
They're gonna be-
Columbine might be an old story, but the
Right.
survivors of that can still hear the 4th of July and probably get a little shook up. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
So
right, right.
they didn't have a hood experience,
Right.
but they had something
At a moment,
traumatic.
yeah.
So I think trauma is a part of it all, man. And people have been through countless things. But as far as like the making process, I think the trauma is a necessary ingredient. So
Right. I got you. I mean, I think I guess using the word like trauma is probably what gives me pause, but I guess long as you know how to process and deal with it, I think that's the biggest thing, because some people, are shaken up, and like we talked about yesterday, just that fear, that confidence is shook because you've experienced something and you never want to do it again. Like I'm sure there were children that probably did not want to go back to school.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to ever go back into school again. God forbid if it happened, if they were like, if it's been 2 times, it's just like, yeah, I'm never going back to school. It's how do we deal with the trauma when things happen or a block happens? How do you get past it? How do you get over it? So that's just something to kind of chew on, because tomorrow is Mental Health Wednesday. So we're going to be digging further into that, the present forward and when you get how to stay mentally focused on the things that you're going after and to limit your distractions. And now adding to that, what's happened in the past, the traumas in the past, how to kind of get over that and get through that.
Can y'all help me with something that's traumatic?
Mhm.
Sending a text to someone and it's a long text and you're looking for an expanded answer and you see the little 3 dots, right? And you're waiting for the text for the response and all you get back is okay. That's traumatic.
That's traumatic. It's okay. Listen, I
got another trauma.
What's that?
Going to work, you're starting a new job,
Uh-huh.
and you meet a friend on the job,
Right.
only to find out they need a ride to work. Can y'all help me with that?
Yeah, that ain't trauma. I don't know what it is.
Or how about people like us who don't like to ask for help.
Right.
You know, you're lifting something heavy and you have someone standing there. You don't say anything. You don't ask for help. You just look at them and like, you know, you see me trying to lift this thing.
I can't get both sides up.
I have some traumas I need some help with.
Listen, I'm really laughing because I've been the one asked for the rides, but I've been the dude looking for the ride, trying to figure out where people live. Where you? Oh, you live in Henry County? Oh, wow. Stockbridge? Really?
Yeah.
Hold on, Pastor. I got kids that go to such and such school. We're gonna have a long conversation about the kids, the school, the teachers. And about 10 minutes in that conversation, hey, you mind picking me up? I live right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
Or taking my children to the dollar store and end up spending over $100.
That ain't right.
That's dramatic.
That ain't right.
It's not right.
That's not the purpose of all those transactions should be under $35.
I'm just saying.
Oh man,
there's trauma in life, man.
I hear you.
And I hate to be the one behind you, like, really? You behind all that?
This
They're
is
not,
run in and a run out.
They're not set up to move fast. They're set up for 4 or 5 items. They just
Yeah.
boop, boop. They should be, when you got a whole
Not even
basket,
that
full, you're looking like, really? No one's gonna open up another register? No. All right, so let's get out of here. Appreciate you guys for rocking with us. Another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. As we talk about seeing the value in your process, had a great conversation today. So, listen, you know how we do. Tomorrow's Mental Health Wednesday. We're going to dig further into this with our what do they call them? Our resident therapist, Matt Genius. So make sure you are here. Share this out. Tag somebody. Let other people know that the brothers have great things going on. And I don't feel a trauma anymore. I'm going to ask. As Brothers Legacy is growing, go to brotherslegacy.com. Check out the financial literacy course, as well as sign up for an opportunity for you or a loved one to receive a holiday dinner. We're closing that on the 31st. Time is ticking fast, so make sure you sign up for that. And as you see us growing, doing some amazing things, make sure you are pressed. If you feel it way down in your shondo, make sure you give financially to the Brothers of Legacy through Cash App, $BOL 2019, $BOL 2019, or go to www.brotherslegacy.com. Why do you say www? Everybody knows that, right? You go to brotherlegacy.com, go to Beyond Donations, and there's 7 ways to give. You can give through PayPal. You can be one of our monthly contributors, and if you contribute at least over $100, you'll get okay. You'll get a shirt from us. So we look forward to seeing you guys next week, same time. Not next. Did I just say next week? Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Take that back. Tomorrow, same time, same channel. Make sure you share. And if all hearts and minds are clear, everybody good.
All good.
All good.
Yes,
all right. So we see you. Continue to be blessed. 988 mental health crisis. You or someone you love, as well as know that we love you. Jesus loves you better. Stay safe. Make good choices, and we'll see you in the AM. Peace out.